Tangled roots and patched wings. As I grew up, my daddy gave me over to the stewardship and the mentorship of people in the merchant world. I was exposed to human relations at a little grocery store on an intersection out in the country where there was a cotton gin and a cotton mill and a lot of cotton patches, some tobacco, some corn. And we had this fellow who came who had married into the community, who bought this little country store from the family who'd built it about 50 years earlier, who were the patrons of the area. They're the ones that owned the gin and the mill. But I went to work for James Washburn. And James Washburn took me in hand and taught me about sales and taught me about dealing with human beings and being in public service. And he had an integrity about him that really helped shape me, taken from my mom and dad, to be someone who cared about what they did and tried to be honest in all my dealings. So when I give you the title of Tangled Roots and Patched Wings, I have an intent to talk about something that signifies. Now we come into this place with expectations. It says on the front of our bulletin something that's pretty important, that sets the tone for who we are. One place, all faiths, creating a caring, justice-seeking community. It states who we are. We have a location. We have a common community. You are invited to participate in it, but you craft your own way of looking at it. The way I like to think of it, reality is a big, huge jewel set in the midst of us. But as every jewel that's been treated by a great jewel maker and a diamond cutter, a jewel cutter, there are all types of facets. And wherever you stand, wherever the reflection, wherever the light strikes it, is what you see. And that's the color, and that's the significance, and that's the power that engages you from that jewel. We're one place with many faiths, and your faith has to be worked. If you like the word God, use it. If you like the word fate, use it. If you see science as your most favored place to go for understanding and coping with reality, go there. If you're a mystic and you try to put yourself over to the rhythms of the universe, whatever that might look like, through music or meditation or rhythm or drumming, go there. We do not prescribe one measure of being in this place, but invite you to tend to that which can serve you. And what it does, it says that you are capable. Consider this. Consider this reality. There is no other philosophy of faith or spiritual path that I can think of, in the Western world anyway, that says you're okay as you are. Everybody's selling something. Everybody's got something that you need to complete your wholeness. When you come through that door, this religious tradition, traced back in human history a long, long way, with a lot of struggle, with a little blood on the way, said no. That reality, what history gave the name God, created you perfect, created you possible, created you real. So Unitarian Universalism, the faith that I think we're about here, the many faiths we're about here, begins with one premise. There's nothing you need to add to your life to make it whole and healthy except understanding. Except understanding and appreciation. And that's what we do here. We don't come and sell you something. We don't give you God's blessing. We don't bestow you some kind of special magic to make your life whole. We hold up a mirror and say to you, how's it working for you? How's the pain and losses? Tell me about how it felt to let him go, let her go. How does it mean to look at a marriage that's gone bad, a life that's left yours, a reality that you had hoped for, gone bad? All the things of life that we encounter need engagement and to find some kind of meaning. Unitarian Universalism has tangled roots and tattered wings, patched wings. Our roots run deep in the human condition. We're informed and nurtured and nourished by those items and those activities and those experiences that have made us who we are. Understand this. We come into life in the midst of the life force. We come in for a moment of consciousness. 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100 years. We are a flash in the pan of all life. But in that brief moment, we are the center of the universe for us. But we're not the universe. We have to engage the universe. So those patched wings, those abilities to cope, those abilities to be a part of, to see and experience, have to be put together, nurtured and nourished by some things that are really ugly sometimes. There are people in this room who are who have been abused and who are abusers. There are people in our life who have dirty, mean, ugly secrets. There may be but few in here. But that's the reality we live with. But we make no judgment about how people are. There's not a given condition in which you were wrong. You were bad. You were insufficient. All of life, one fellow said, is an ability to grow a soul. Well, Unitarian Universalism is about a statement to the world that says you got a soul. How are you tending it? How are you developing it? How is it becoming a blessing to you? How are you engaged in living yourself after the mistakes you made? We come into a reality that we cannot control the world around us. The best we can do is engage ourselves and try to define some meaning from it, to be a part of the healing and the hurt. We look not to way over there, but right close at hand. Peggy and I get in fist fights sometimes. That's a lie. It'd probably be easier to get in fist fights, but we're like most people. We do psychological warfare. And she don't mind me telling you this. But we engage one another by expressing the needs and the places where we are. That's what love looks like sometimes. That's what engagement with things that matter. If you've got someone that you care about who's hurting and wandering, you try to help. And sometimes the best help you can give is to say, I believe in you. It is going to be okay. I believe in you. It's going to be okay. Because remember this, you have a hard time fixing yourself, much less somebody else. The work we have on our own bodies, our own psyches, our own spirits is challenge enough. Well, what are the tools we can use? What are the ideas that can bless us and extend the possibility of our achieving our understanding, of our flying with some grace and with some power in this experience called life? Well, it begins with love, and that's a regard and a respect for ourselves. Love is not just that cheap four-letter word that's used too often. Love is engagement with possibility. It's saying, I see you as you are. I see myself as I am, and I'm going to try to embrace all that's there. The scars, the mistakes, the problems, the issues, the faulty thinking. To believe in the possibility that you can overcome them. You can become more than you seem. Faith is about possibility. Faith is a trust in the ability for us to cope with some sense of style and grace. Now, Tuesday we have an election. The world's going crazy. We've got wars around the world. We're all invited to be a part of it. And those of us who have two, angel, devil, the devil's saying, don't do it. It ain't worth it. You just encourage those scoundrels. The angels say, try. You've got to make a statement. You've got to stand with good. And if you can stand with good, if you can find those places where you can touch life just a little bit to say, it may be bad now, but I see it tomorrow. It may be bad now, but I see it tomorrow. Look at the roots we have in our heritage. Look at what's behind us. Look at slavery. Look at women as chattel. Look at the way we treated our children. Look at the crap that we've come from. And that has been a lot of crap, a lot of sin, a lot of ugliness, a lot of meanness. And somehow we can flourish, and we can plant a garden, and we can fly over the reality that is life and say it's possible. How do we do that? We keep on trying. We say that it is going to be a better day someday, and we're going to work toward it through acts of love and regard and help. What does that look like? It does not mean enabling folks who are troubled. It means embracing them and urging them to find help and a being of help for them. It means that we as spiritual beings have the possibility to influence the health of the whole. The health of the whole. Right now, when I look at the world, I see it in a fragmented, tortured place. And part of me wants to understand, was it just because I'm seeing so much, that there's so much information coming in? Well, possibly that's part of it. But we are an ugly species. We're still working on what it means to be good, to be capable of reaching beyond our animal and into an angel status. And that looks like different things to different people. But when we have users, when we have people standing in pulpits, when we have people in an office of trust who see that greed and manipulation and ego is all that they are owe allegiance to, then we need to rethink. The people of the world are better than they appear. The people of the world are better than their worst acts. Right now we're going through a season, and it may be for a long time, that the good folks are in danger. The good folks are threatened. But understand this, we're all of a human species. We all have possibilities to connect and relate and regard to one another. The answer is find the blessings that we need, to say yes to the possibilities of the wonder that we can create. We can all catalog the good stuff in our lives. We can all catalog the evil stuff in our lives. The decision we have to make in this room, the decision we have to make every day of our lives is to say we're going to hope. We're going to move with faith toward something better. We're going to make one decision at a time. How we spend our money, how we vote, how we give our attention, how we determine that we're going to be for that which is positive rather than negative. Now, you can complain and argue about life all you want to, but when you see somebody hurting and you're able to reach out to them, you've begun a revolution that all life is based on. Because if we continue to treat the earth and others as something different from ourselves, as outside our reality, as over against us, then we'll continue the demise of the human race. When we engage ourselves as a living system, a living organism, that we are part and parcel of that which can be and that which is. When we see in the most ignorant, backward, troublesome, scared person in the world a brother and a sister, we've started a long journey of understanding and healing, and that's hard work. So if we want to go to a place that gets you to heaven, says this is all you need is this pill, you need to buy this cologne and this deodorant and lose this amount of weight, you go right ahead. I won't enlist you because you're here. You're already enlisted in the hard work of being a human being in an inhumane world. To be hopeful when all the signs are negative. To say we're going to be agents of good in our little circle, hoping we find other co-leaders and co-travelers. Because that's what it's going to take. That's what it's always took. And the good people who've come our way, the good teachers, that's what they've said. They've said, look in your heart and see the treasure there. Look at the love shared in this community and you will see God. That's what all of it is about to begin with. So let's not fool ourselves. Let's not deny the possibility, but let's ongoingly come again and again to this place. This place as a fountain of hope. This place as a community of love. To reach one another, lift one another, and watch the craziness around us and say, oh God, we got to go back out in that. We got to be a part of that. But we do it at work. We do it with our families. We do it with our friends. And one act of love and kindness starts a ripple effect. Now this sounds like all, positive thinking, all this bull crap. It's not. It's reality. Because if you go around hating, you're going to experience hate. If you go around estranged, you're going to be estranged and lonesome. If you go around hopeful, you might have a chance of finding a friend. One more little story. Sat down in the Waffle House this morning. Packed. All the ugly, weird-looking people in the world come to my Waffle House. It's sort of home. I can be myself. So I'm at the counter. We got people waiting. There's a little lady running around with a tablet taking names. Oh, I'm Bill, by the way. My name is Bill out in the world. Peggy knows this. I don't say Doak because they just look at me weird, so I just say Bill. So my counter self is Bill. Okay. So Bill's found his seat. So they got people all over there. This one guy comes in and he goes down to the takeout and says, can I get a seat? And she says, well, you need to go over there. And there's a seat there. She said, he said, well, I want to say, So anyway, he cuts line. All right, so he sits down beside me. So I want to get up and throw him out. That's the bad Doak. Rather than that, I practiced what I've been preaching to you this morning. I talked to the guy. I visited with him nicely. And I just learned that he's one of the nerds I've always lived with my life who don't know what time of day it is, you know. And they just sort of walked in and thought their place was there at the counter, rather than being dutiful me waiting over there like everybody else. So who's right? Who's wrong? What does it matter? It matters that Doak Mansfield was generous to this guy rather than be judgmental. Did it matter to him? No. Did it matter to me? Dang right it did, because I felt better about myself rather than being the petty. So we're invited to be full and rich and wear red shirts. Or be bland and troublesome and wear white. You make your choice. Tangled roots, they're ours. Patched wings, they're real. But by God, we grow and we can fly sometimes, and that's what matters. Thank you. Amen. You're very kind, and I appreciate that. Oh, the reason I wore blue jeans and a red shirt today was that as a model to you. I like my robe. I like a tie on Sunday because we're on a dome. Come on. Okay. Where are the religious symbols around here? We don't have too many, do we, except our own. So my psychology is to be of a contrast, to say there's something in my formalism of dress that there's some traditions we bring to bear here. So it's a little bit of a mind thing here today. But I wore my blue jeans and my red shirt and my corduroy as an example to you. You're going to be dealing with a new minister in about 7 or 8 months. They may choose to look very different, and they will look very different. So just be ready. And also, I'm a little whimsical today, so bear with me. As we leave, remember the first work we have to do is with ourselves. The rest of it will be tainted if we don't do it. First things first. Be gentle to yourselves, hope the best for yourselves, and act out of hope. And remember, red shirts rather than white shirts are a whole lot more fun sometimes. Remember social hour and some of the activities that are going on, so be at home. You are.